friends, Miss Eliza here, and welcome back to Peak Flicks Reading and Writing. This is day 12. Now, our reading teaching point today is I can mark interesting parts in my nonfiction book. Now, friends, just as our teaching point stated, today we will use the table of contents to help us mark up interesting parts. Okay, now before we do that, friends, what is an interesting part, right? What is an interesting part? I don't know what that means. An interesting part is anything that grabs your attention. Okay? Remember, it can be an interesting photograph, or it can be some words that you said or that you learned from, right? It can be any of those things. Now, we are still going to use our mentor text, Sharks, to mark up interesting parts. Now, we have read half the book. However, we can go back and mark up parts that we already know we've read to just remind us that grabbed my attention. That is going to get a tab or an interesting part because it's an interesting part. Now, let me just show you. You can use post-it notes to help you mark up a word. A page, right? Just kind of sticks on the page. Or if you don't have a post-it note, some people just simply fold the page, a corner of the page, to let them know that they should go back to that page because it's so interesting, right? Oops, just like this, right? So that is what we'll do. However, since we are here virtually, right, and we're not in person together, I'm going to use a little tool on my computer to just mark up interesting parts. Let's get started. All right, friends, we're going to mark interesting parts. Now, we're only doing about 2 parts of this book because I would like for you to go ahead and try other sections in the book to mark them up. Okay? I'm going to show you 2 examples of what I think grabs my attention. First, we're going to go to Chomp on page, I believe it's page 6. There it is. I'm going to move my picture here. All right, friends. Now I'm going to use my little emoji tool here with a sticker tool with like a little thumbs up, right? All right, friends. Now I remember when I went in and I started reading this page, there were so many things that I thought was so important. Let's get started. Now, one thing that I thought was so cool is that the author included a close-up version of the shark's skin. I don't know about you, but I've never touched a shark, and I do not want to, right? Because they're very dangerous. But it's nice to know that this author included a close up version of it. Now, I didn't know that a shark's skin feels bumpy and it's rough. That's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put my thumbs up on there. Another thing that I learned when I was reading was that sharks do not have bones. They have cartilage. Remember, we talked about that we have cartilage in our ear and in our nose? Well, the shark is made up, the entire body is made up inside, instead of bones, it's made of cartilage. I thought that was really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and read that part and tab it. It says, sharks do not have bones. They have soft cartilage instead. So that I don't, I don't want to cover some of my words. I'm just going to put a little thumbs up here. And then I'll go up to word bites where the author defined the word cartilage. It's always nice to know what that means. So I'm going to tab that here. All right. So let's continue. Whoops. All right. All right, friends. So we're going to go to the next part and we're going to mark up another section of this book. Remember, we're only marking up 2 sections because I would like for you to go ahead and mark up the rest. All right. So we're going to go to Now You Don't, and that's on page 26. All right, let me put my video on the side here. I'm going to get my sticker ready so that I can mark up my important facts. So on this page, we talked about the way that the shark hides. Now, there are two parts of this page that I really thought was very interesting. The first one is on page 26, okay? And it reads, they have a dark back. From above, they blend in with the water. They have a white belly. From below, they blend in with the sky. That is so cool, friends. I did not know that. So I'm going to go ahead and tab this part here and this part here, right? Just so that I remember that this is very cool. I did not know that. Let's continue. So there's another part that I thought was really interesting. Here, they talked about the Wabi-Gang shark. All right. Now here it says Wabagons have special colors like the sea floor. I didn't even know that there was a shark that existed like that. And look at that, friends. I could not even tell that this was a shark. I thought it was the sea floor with the coral reef and some plants. I didn't know that that was a shark. So I'm gonna go over here and read and then mark it up. Let's see. Wabagons have colors like the sea floor. Their mouths have parts that look like seaweed. Fish swim in, but they can't get out. That was very important. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up this and this. All right, beautiful. Now, friends, now that we've marked it up, it is your turn. Let me go ahead and clear my emojis. There it is. All right, friends. So now it's your turn. I want you to go ahead and dive into this mentor text. This is in your book baggie. We only marked up two parts. I want you to mark up the rest. I want you to go back to books, pages that we've read before, and I want you to see if you can use either a post-it note, right? Or you can just go ahead and fold that part. That's very interesting, right? We're going to just fold that part that is interesting. You don't need post-it notes. You can use that. You can fold the edge of the paper or you can use this. Now, you can go ahead and fold photographs that really grabbed your attention. You can fold a page that has important facts about the shark that was interesting. Okay? This is based on what you think is interesting. Okay? Now, you're going to pause this video and come back in 5 minutes. Okay? Go back in your book baggie and mark in interesting parts. Come back in 5 minutes. Okay? Hi, friends. Welcome back. We are in our writing section of our lesson, and today's writing teaching point is I can add a table of contents in my all about book. Now, today, friends, we will add a table of contents in our All About book, friends. I cannot believe it. We're at the end of our writing process. If you remember before, we added pictures and we added facts. We thought of questions that our readers may have and we answered them in our books, right? We added different nonfiction text features, but one very important one is the table of contents. And as you know, it's really one of my favorites nonfiction text features because it really carries us through from the beginning of our book to the middle and the end, right? And we can hop around different sections. All right. Well, let's talk about what a table of contents is. Now, a table of contents, if you notice, is just like this right here. This is a table of contents. Now, it's made up of two things. It has a heading, and it has pages. That's it. We are going to go into our nonfiction books. We're going to go back to the very first page, and we're going to add a heading. It's almost like the title of the page, and we're going to add a page number for that page. All right. Now, I went ahead and I did that so that I can show you here now. Now, this is the first page, right? I added a heading, which is sharks, and then I added my page number. Now, the reason I added sharks is because I wanted to start out with something very basic. This was something relating to sharks. I wanted to just label it sharks, nothing specific. Okay. Now, your headings are always going to match the writing on the page. Let's go to the next page. This is my other page. Now, I labeled this baby sharks because my writing is about baby sharks. Now, baby sharks are called pups. So that is my heading here. And I added a page number. All right. Now I went ahead and I did that for each of the pages. I added a heading that related to the writing that I added, and then I added a page number. So today we are going to go ahead to a clean page. After you add all your headings, we're going to add our headings onto a clean page that's called the table of contents. Let's get started. There's the page that I have. Sorry about that. Just focus that. So I added sharks and I added page 2. And I remember my writing matched my heading. This was a really fun fact about that the sharks smell blood from miles away. So I added fun fact and I added a page 3. This was all about sharks' teeth. So I added sharks' teeth and I added a page 4. Friends, do you see? The heading matches the words. I didn't get a chance to draw a picture yet, but I will later on today. Now, sharks attack because we wrote about how sharks do attack people, right? But it's very rare. And that's page 5. Here we have shark disguise because we talked about how sharks hide so that they can hunt and they can hide from other animals that eat them. So that is on page 6. And finally, I added my glossary, and that is on page 7. And so now I'm going to use this page to add my table of contents. Now, my table of contents here, I'm going to add here the heading of the table of contents. Let me just focus my writing. I'm going to add table, able of, and you see I'm giving myself some space, friends. Another finger space. Contents. Right? That's our heading. That is the title of this page. I'm going to give it a nice underline. All right. Now I'm going to add my headings on this side and my page numbers here. Now, if you remember, the first page was sharks. So I'm going to write sharks and page 1 on this part. So let me go ahead and write it. R. And that's page 1. Now I'm going to go back to my page, turn my page to page 2. Here I labeled baby sharks, and that is on page 2. So I'm going to write baby sharks. Sharks. Page 2. You see? Then I'm going to go back, turn the page. The label that I added here was fun fact, and that was on page 3. Fun fact. So this will be really easy for other friends that are reading my book to go ahead and navigate, right? And they can just jump around and learn about different things, right? Now, maybe the person that reads this book doesn't want to read sharks, but they want to read about baby sharks, so they can just go straight to page number 2. That is why the table of contents is so amazing. Let's continue, friends. This is on page 4. This is all about shark's teeth. So that is the label, shark's teeth. So I'm going to write that here. Shark's teeth. Whoops, I made a mistake. There's no TH. Sorry about that. Good writers check their work, right? Teeth. Shark's teeth. And that's on page 4. All right, I'm going to go back. And I'm going to go to page 5. And that is shark attack. There it is. Shark attack. And that is on page 5. And we're going to continue, friends. Shark disguise, and that is on page 6. So I'm going to write it right here. Shark disguise. Disguise. Remember, disguise is just something that helps them hide, right? Disguise. Kind of like in Halloween, we all wear a disguise. So it helps us hide and cover ourselves. That's on page 6. And finally, the glossary, that is on page 7. That's very important because my readers can go back to the glossary to help them define the words. Glossary, and that is page 7. All right, friends. So this is my table of contents. All right, friends. Okay. Now, remember, maybe your All About book doesn't have as many pages as mine. That is okay. You're going to add a heading to each of your page or the ones that you would like to add to your table of contents. Not every page needs to have a heading. That is up to you, whether you would like to add a heading to that page or not. Okay? Your book should have at least 3 headings or more. All right, friends. Well, that is it. You're going to go ahead and take your writing journals out. You're going to go to each page and add a heading to it. When you're done adding a heading, then you can go to a clean page and create your table of contents. Friends, that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining me for reading and writing. This is Miss Eliza, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.